You can build success for 20 years and lose it all in 20 minutes. Shannon Sharpe's recent OnlyFans model situation just shows how fast that can happen. Today, I'm going to break it down for you exactly what went wrong, and more importantly, how you can avoid making that same mistake. Just going to give it to you real lessons, no fluff. So, who's Shannon Sharpe? You may know Shannon Sharpe as, a Super Bowl MVP that played 14 seasons in the NFL, primarily with the Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens. He achieved 815 receptions, 10,060 receiving yards, and 62 touchdowns. He was also selected for 8 Pro Bowls. He was also named first team All-Pro 4 times. He also won the Super Bowl 3 times. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champ. Introduced in the Hall of Fame in 2011. Now, Shannon, he's been famous and rich for a long time now. So this is nothing new to him. He's been around the boat. So let's get into it. What happened? All right, early 2025. Earlier this year, I'll say everybody knows, about a week ago, Shannon Sharpe, he had a deal going on. I think he had like a contract for about $100 million. It's crazy. He said he'll do some crazy things for $50 million. So he was going crazy for that $100 million. But as soon as that came out, he got accused for sexual misconduct, some allegations going on, some crazy stuff going on. 50 mil. She hit him with a 50 ball. The lawsuit was filed by a woman named we're gonna call her Jane Doe. She's been leaked. We can get into some of those clips later on, but when it first came out, it was Jane Doe. We all know who she is by now. She was alleging sexual assault during their relationship. Now, she claims that the assaults occurred in 2024, October 2024, and January 2025. Of course, Shannon denied these allegations, labeled them as false and disruptive. But his attorney ultimately described the lawsuit as blatant and a cynical attempt to shake down Sharpe. This is a messy situation. So you know how the public's going to react to this and, type of impact that they may have. Sharpe temporarily stepped away from his role at ESPN. We all know good and well that, Disney don't play. Now, you do anything to piss off Disney, you have any type of dirt on your resume, I don't care if you, man, if you cheated on a test, if you looked over somebody's shoulder on a test in kindergarten, you getting fired from Disney. They're getting you up out of there. So, with this type of situation, they don't joke about that type of stuff. So, and supposedly he stepped down, and he's gonna come back when football season starts or whatever like that. But this has sparked a widespread media coverage and public discourse. Social media users, such as myself, you guys may as well, speculated that the accuser is Gabrielle Zuniga. I know I'm saying that wrong. Y'all don't get on me in the comments for the one person that made comment, which is probably gonna be myself. Please don't get on me. Based on some leaked messages and things of that, I'll throw in some clips.
Like, I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke the shit out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Why this may matter. Sharpe's situation highlights how personal conduct can significantly impact your career and what you got going on, your reputation and everything that you may have going for you. This case right here signifies the importance of discipline, sexual discipline for my guys out there, man. You got to be disciplined. You know, you can't have things like this happening. You have to practice self-control every single day. You can't be out here and be lustful. You know, you just can't do that. You know, just let this serve as a tell that, you know, nobody's perfect that's in the public. You watch who you look up to as well. You don't know what these people doing behind closed doors. So, you know, they always say you don't want to meet your heroes, and I kind of stand on that. She was like 19 or when this allegedly happened, and he's like 50 something, bro. Damn near 60. Like, come on, man. Could be your granddaughter, man. It's crazy. Let's get into the real problem here. Let's deep dive into the issues. All right, the surface versus reality. Okay, it's not just about lust. Now I know I said that earlier, but it's easy to reduce it to celebrities get caught up with the model. But that's kind of surface level here. It's really about emotional control, boundary setting, and impulse management. Now, Sharpe's mistake, it wasn't just bad judgment, okay? It was ignoring what was at stake. And as we stated earlier, that contract, hey, listen. Yeah. It was all at stake. It was 100 million things at stake here, okay? Or in her case, 50 million things. All right. Most downfalls happen not in a moment of weakness, but when you justify the wrong thing because it feels good or harmless in the moment. Okay? Temptation plus access increases your risk, in my opinion, exponentially. Okay? The more successful you are, the more access you have to people, opportunities, and distractions. Alright? But access without discipline becomes a liability, not a reward, which in this case is exactly what happened. When you get to that level, that status, that stature, even on a smaller scale, you know, you're a regular guy, you know, you may be making $50K a year average American salary right now, but you're grinding. You may be grinding in corporate America or anything like that. You want to move your way up the ladder. You know, you start off in middle management, make your way up to upper management, senior level, whether you're engineer management, doesn't matter. You have more access now. And with great power comes great responsibility, as my old boy Ben said. Now, what changes you when you make it? Nothing, okay? Nothing at all. If your character doesn't scale with your success, it all falls apart. Private temptations have public consequences. Okay, as we know, she fiddling with, they was talking about some toys involved. Listen, alright. Listen, I don't know what Shannon got going on. But when you're a public figure, this is scaled exponentially. Okay. it comes into pride, ego, blind. Just have blind spots when this happens. When you've built a brand around being smart, disciplined, and composed, it's easy to fall into these kind of, you will call them as ego traps. Your ego may say, "Oh, I'm too big to fall." But in reality, the higher you climb, the higher you're gonna fall. This is facts. He may have assumed that nobody may have found out. But, a lot of people of this stature and that have this much success realize this is a false sense of security that, many people of this stature may fail to adopt. This wasn't about attraction. He let his guard down, okay? He may have thought he was above the consequences here. And it's a hard way to learn, but sometimes people just have to learn. You can't tell everybody everything. Sometimes people just have to learn. Like I said earlier, this applies to everyone. This is basic human behavior. Regular people, me and you, the one person watching, myself. Regular people can get fired over DMs. You can lose partners over Snapchats and destroy friendships over impulse. Just this once is the most dangerous thought you can have when you have something valuable to lose. I know every single one of you watching, myself, every single one of myself can relate to this. There's probably a text you shouldn't have sent. Someone you gave too much access to. And, there may be a moment where they risked what they value most or what you value most. And it's not exactly what you wanted. Alright? So, knowing all of this, here's some lessons that can be taken away from this situation and what I think everybody can value from. You have to learn how to protect your private life like it's your business. Now, every single one of us, of course we're at smaller scales. I can't speak for everybody watching this. But for me, certainly, I'm on a smaller scale. I'm nowhere near as famous, not even remotely close to someone like Shannon Sharpe. Alright? But even me, I take the precautions of, if I send a DM or, anything like that to any type of girl, you say something crazy, even if you get online and say something crazy, that's public information. That's public information now. So you have to learn how to treat your private life or things that you do that it seems like nobody can notice with the consequences of what happens if this gets out. You have to think of the bigger consequence at scale. One careless moment can undo years of careful branding. So, in his case, he's been working his whole life up to this. He's been popping up for the past couple years. It all started with that Cat Williams interview. That's when I really got put onto his Club Shay Shay podcast and things like that. He had it going on over the past year or two. And, it sucks to see everything go down the drain over something so careless. Like, over your just sexual desires and people just slandering his name. You can see he's going through it right now. You just have to treat everything with caution and, just move carefully. You have to operate like you're always on camera. Because, in today's world, you low-key kind of are. You have people recording you on the street. You have these Ring cameras picking up everything. I'm not trying to get into no crazy, conspiracy theories or anything like that. But you're always kind of on camera. You're always kind of being watched now. So you have to act in a way where it's like, okay, unless you're completely behind closed doors in your own house, whatever. But you have to act like you're always going to be kind of exposed. You can be exposed. That possibility is open. Being private, it's protection. It's not a paranoia type of thing. Another key takeaway from this is your ego will always be your greatest enemy. Success can trick you into thinking that you can get away with anything. Alright? The bigger you get, the more disciplined you need to become, not less. This is exactly what's happening in his case. You see it countless times over and over again with these celebrities and people who just think that they're above everything else. Well, it's not even politicians as well. People just think they're above the law or above getting, their ego just gets the best of them. Your ego may say, "Oh, I deserve this." Your discipline needs to say that I must protect what I built. Sharpe's moment, I know we've been saying it's about lust, but maybe it was about pride. But short-term pleasure can cost long-term success. In this world, one thing that I've learned over the past couple of years, I'm in my mid-20s now. Again, I'm an old head, I'm getting up there. I learned that delayed gratification really is a virtue. People may want things quick. You may want to, I don't know, go to the casino, gamble, or think you're gonna, gamble away on some meme coins, gonna hit big. Anything of that sort. Just get quick rich. That's not always the case. Delayed gratification, learning how to enjoy the process, is really what sets people apart. If you can delay that gratification, people who are able to sustainably invest their money, for example, I'm just giving an example here, sustainably able to invest their money. Let's say they had the patience, they're like 20 years old, you invest like $100 a month, returning at 8%, 9% a year. Yeah, it's boring. You probably fell asleep with me just saying that short statement, compared to somebody who hit it big on a meme coin like Dogecoin or something like that and made crazy returns. But how many people lost money from Dogecoin? If you just sat back and just got into a simple ETF, investing until the time you're 50 or something like that, boom, you're walking away with $1 million. I'm just guessing off the top of my head, $1 million. Maybe you got a couple million. This is just an example, I just bring it back to finances to simplify things a little bit. But the real cost, it is an embarrassment, but it's just lost opportunities from this. You lose respect for Shannon from this. He's lost leverage. Like, we're bringing back what happened to that contract, that deal that he had going on. He had that $100 million podcast deal that he could have potentially signed. What's going on now? What happened with that? Did it just fall through the cracks? All because of what? He wanted some sweet cheeks? Come on now. It's crazy. Alright, just to wrap things up here. You don't lose everything because you're unlucky. Very seldom. This happens to very few. But I would say you may lose everything because you get sloppy. And I believe that the greatest downfalls, you look at civilizations over time, the Roman Empire, some could argue from modern times today, your downfall isn't because of luck, unlucky. You start slacking a bit. You just get sloppy, out of place. And this is exactly what's happening to Shannon Sharpe. Your success is fragile. No matter how big you get. It can always come crumbling down. I always say you have to be grateful for what you have. I mean, you're not entitled to success. No one owes you anything. So you have to cherish the moments you have and move strategically. You have to stay disciplined, stay private, and stay locked in. Now, I appreciate it if you made it this far in the video. Small channel. This is one of my first videos, so I appreciate you if you subscribe. And that's all for now.